beautiful day today. I just wanted to take the car out and kind of film a 1 month ownership or 1 month, I guess, update kind of in terms of what I've done, more of a documenting progress. The most recent thing done was the exhaust with the exhaust tips. So this kind of showcases it a little better, hopefully. Very happy now that I've shortened it. I really do want to get the LCI trunk done. Kind of last on my list just because of cosmetics. I really haven't been looking around too much for an LCI trunk. I do plan to make a trip over to Pick and Pull. There are a few pieces of trim that I'd like to get for the car, and then hopefully, or well, potentially find a LCI trunk either in black, was it Drez black, jet black, or even space gray. And then depending on the price that they're selling it for, I might pick it up from there. In addition to, in preparation for the LCI taillights, I'll probably clip a few harnesses while I'm over at Pick and Pull. So we'll see. Still trying to figure out their inventory so I don't waste the trip out there. Apart from that, struggling with the tow hook cover. I tried using stronger 3M tape, but I think just because there's so much wind pressure on the highway, it kind of pushes it outwards. So I think I'm just gonna silicone it. It'll still allow me to remove it if I ever need to, as an emergency. But in my particular scenario now, just for aesthetics, I'll have it siliconed in place. One other thing I was looking into was angel eye bulbs. Currently, it just has a white LED angel eye bulb, so it only illuminates one of the rings. It does not illuminate both. So, toying with the idea of purchasing the Lux angel eye bulbs once again. Had them on my E92, and they're probably one of the, if not the best brand angel eye bulbs. It totally lights up both rings. Install's a little tough, but I've done it, I think maybe 3-4 times now. So thinking about that. The front grille, I'm kind of, I don't know, kind of grew on me, the chrome grille. So I'm not sure if I want to do a gloss black grille. So I'll see. Apart from that, I think I've put roughly 500 miles on the car. Done more maintenance than anything. Trying to figure out what to really do next. Like, I really would like to get coilovers now. But I'm not sure if I want to mess with the ride height on stock wheels. I don't know. Sorry, getting kind of lost and sidetracked. So coilovers could be a potential plan in the next couple months. I don't foresee it being anytime too soon. Looking into a used X pipe. So interestingly enough, there is a OEM X pipe with test pipes installed. That's identical setup to my last E92. So it's kind of funny and ironic how the progression of my exhaust on this car is somehow mirroring my E92. So thinking about that, the only issue is the guy who has the X pipe listed is asking kind of a lot. A few $100 more, I can get a brand new X pipe. So I'm trying to figure out, should I just wait or should I pick it up? Not really sure. I also only have one set of new donut gaskets for where the header meets the X pipe. So I'm not sure if I were to install the test pipe X pipe, makes sense, and then later on down the road want to switch to the catless X pipe, would I need new gaskets again? Let me know. Apart from that, let's kind of move into the interior. I don't think I've really showcased kind of the interior. Um, Other than there is some bolster wear, but one of my friends told me that there's a way to DIY repair this, so I'm gonna look into that and see how difficult that is. Also, shout out Dom. He said he had purchased this trim from FCP Euro before, so yeah, if you know, you know. Oh, one other thing I did want to kind of talk about. I had a friend reach out to me regarding maintenance, and it's kind of like, wait, why are you doing all of the work yourself? Why not just take it to a shop and have them do it? So that was like kind of interesting. It's not like I can't take it to a shop. I think there's a real fulfilling factor. Maybe I'm just weird. I feel like the true kind of ownership experience is, being able to identify what needs to be done on your car, taking action, and kind of looking into how to fix it yourself. I mean, yeah, it's easy. If something were to happen, I just drop it off to the shop. No need to look into anything. Yeah, you can go down that route. But for myself, I find a lot of interest in, I guess, like the in-depth, like the mechanical, doesn't even have to be mechanical, just kind of like being able to fix and do things myself. So like the spark plugs, I can easily have taken that to the shop. But since I've done the job before, it's not that tough. And I do feel like it's more fulfilling, even though in the moment of doing the job, it might be a little tough or stressful. But once you get it done, it's just like, I can't really describe this feeling, but it's just like, other than the word fulfilling, it just feels so right to have been able to identify something that needs to be done, taking action, getting it completed. Of course, yeah, there's money saved as well, right? You're not taking it to a shop, or some people just don't like taking their cars to a shop. I'm a bit indifferent. I'm okay, depending on what the service is. If it's like, let's see, what's something I wouldn't want to, like a clutch job, right? I wouldn't want to try to drop the transmission. I think that's just way too intricate. I've never done anything on that scale, and I would prefer not to do it on the ground with jack stands. So I'd be more than happy and willing to drop it off to the shop and let them know, like, hey, I need a new clutch, flywheel, let's get that full refresh and just go down that route. Identical to the rod bearings. But if you're talking about, typical stuff that can be done, washing the car, doing the oil change, the brakes, stuff like that, I feel like there's just so much value in doing it yourself. Of course, if you have the tools, you're equipped, I would not recommend it if you're just kind of starting out, because when you do make a mistake and damage, let's say, for example, damage something, it can get extremely pricey. Let's just, like, example, let's just say even an oil change, right? Oil change might seem super easy, but let's say you're putting back in the drain bolt and you strip it, AKA you're cross-threading it. So now you strip the oil pan out, the drain bolt won't stay inside, meaning you can't put engine oil in the car without it leaking out. Now you're in real big trouble, right? Trying to figure out, how do I get the car to the shop? Or you're trying to figure out a YouTube guide on how to tap new threads, or whatever the other brand is, Helicoil, whatever it is, to fix that drain bolt. So that could be extremely, extremely stressful, from an easy job turning into a literal nightmare. So yeah, not really advocating for everyone to do their own work. I don't knock anyone who takes their car to a shop. This is just a personal opinion that I do feel like I really solidify my ownership of the car by being able to take accountability of anything that goes wrong with it. So yeah. Overall, I'm extremely excited and happy with my ownership. I haven't put too many miles on the car. Surprisingly enough, I've filled 4 tanks of gas already. and I've barely driven the car, I think 400, 500 miles. MPG is as bad as I remember. Thought it would be a little bit better with the manual transmission, but it's actually worse, I feel like, than my automatic one. So I did want to mention a few differences that I've noticed and that I really like with the sedan versus the coupe. So the number one thing being the length of their doors. So obviously a sedan has 4 doors, but the length of the doors are shorter, right? Because there's 4. So if this was a coupe, instead of the door handle being here, the door handle would probably be somewhere over here. Meaning the coupe door is just so much longer. So when you get in and out of the car, to open the door far enough to get out and in, you need a lot more space, right? Just because the door is so long. So it's like, probably at this point in a coupe, you still wouldn't be able to get out just because the door is so long. So you need to swing it out so much further. Does that make sense? It kind of makes sense to me. Trying to use personal experience. So that's one thing I did not like in the E92, and this is one thing I really like with the sedan. Okay, anyways. Touching on the driver's seat, the positioning is also so much better, right? My seat kind of looks normal, right? And I'm only indicating this just because I'm shorter, so my seat gets scooted up closer than the average, let's say that. In a coupe setting, right, the seating position would be the same, but the door would end right here. So pairing that with the door being so much wider and having to swing it out so far out, it was just a very awkward accessibility route, let's say that. And then it also made me look very short because like the B-pillar would be scooted back. So then the seat would look like, it would look like I'm sitting right here. Anyways, kind of exposing myself here. But overall, I do feel like the E90 is the far superior chassis. I think, don't quote me on this, curb weight is within 100 pounds, depending on the spec, because there is majority sunroof cars for E90s. Additionally, I believe the wheelbase and the length of the car are either identical, or it was either that the E90 might be a few inches shorter than the coupe, which is rather impressive in my opinion. Anyways, don't want the video to drag on too long. I feel like I am rambling a bit. Just really wanted to touch on my ownership, my 1 month-ish ownership. I think I've been doing a pretty good job in terms of documenting what I've done to the car. I know a lot of it was maintenance heavy. I think it still is very maintenance heavy, just because, for my own personal preference in my cars, I'd like to make sure that mechanically they're up to par before I really work on the cosmetics. I'd rather have, function over form. Yes, function over form. Oh, one other thing I did want to mention. Once I get my X-Pipe, the next mod will be suspension, so coilovers and wheels. Most likely we'll do the coilovers first. I'm leaning towards the STXTA, I believe that is the name, solely because it's a very competitive price at $1,500. That also includes the camber plate. So instead of going Olin's and then having to purchase a camber plate and just, all these things, I think the ST being a one-stop shop and full package has me sold. I do not plan to perform that service or not even a service. I do not plan to do that install just because I'm not very familiar with installing coilovers. I'm also not sure how ride height adjusting works. Would you be adjusting the heights, let's say 1-inch gap on each of the coilovers on the bench and then installing it on the car, and then it would be level? Because I feel like there's certain corners of the car that's heavier, right? So there would be more compression. So like, let's just say it's 300 pounds heavier in this corner. Wouldn't this side be lower? Let me know. So in addition to that, the car is equipped with EDC, electronic dampening control. So with that system, it allows the car to stiffen the suspension with the 3 settings: comfort, sport, sport plus. With that setting, or with that capability, when I remove that system for coilovers, it's gonna throw an error light. And the only way to remove that error light is with coding. So I plan to take it to a shop just so that they can, of course, number one, install the coilovers. And number two, they have the computer software system to code out the EDC. I prefer to not have that light on the dash. I'm not sure if it impacts the performance as well. So that's the plan. And then I'll probably just take my time finding wheels. And then I think the final step, it's gonna be the aero, or well, body parts, front lip, side skirt, diffuser, and then figuring out what to do with the trunk. Should I keep the pre-LCI look and just get black line taillights? Or just go ahead and buy a LCI trunk, get it repainted, and do the full LCI conversion? So let me know your thoughts. What do you guys think? I kind of like the retro-ish look, but I just feel like it's kind of boxy and weird. I don't know. Plus, during that time, I'll have the rear bumper resprayed as well. Not in the greatest condition. Has some scuffs. Has a pre-existing like scratch right here as well. Can't really do anything about this part, but anyways, closing out this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I hope you all have an amazing day. It's beautiful out. Get some steps in. Get that heart rate going. And I'll catch you in the next video.